Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI F1.5 EU Championship. Apologies for the delay and thank you for your patience. We are finally here for the final moments of qualifying Singapore. We're almost done, as I was just going to say. We don't know the weather for the race, but we know that it has been pretty much dry the entire time. A little bit of a cheeky moment there from JJ. He's going to be careful with that one. Anyway, situation as it is right now, a 29.5 is the pole time. That is interesting. Zingy, do you remember your lap time? Actually, no, it was wet yesterday, wasn't it? Who do you think has a chance to get in pole here? I don't know.
Well, if I go by logic, Gilly is in the Ferrari and Carlos Sainz got pole position, the greatest driver of all time. That means that Gilly is going to get pole for the Singapore Grand Prix. I think I can see it happening. I don't know what you're thinking, but I can definitely see Gilly getting pole position. If he's as consistent as he's been throughout the first few races of the season, and then finds this pace, he's not only got a chance to get pole, but he's got a chance to win the race.
It really depends if Gilly decides to do his old tricks and retire with 3 minutes to go on the clock, unless he's gonna do another lap, because the track will get significantly faster. It just does. Around here, so you really do want to be on your way out as late as possible. That being said, it's very easy to get caught in traffic towards the later stages of qualifying. We're on board with Monk, who's got a couple more corners to go. I believe, is this their final lap, or are they harvesting? They're going into the pit lane, so they are currently in P7, and that's how it's running for them. Grosjean, their teammate today, he is on the grid. It's good to see him. Hopefully this time he can get a setup applied and he'll be good. Reserve driver, returning is Waldo in the Aston Martin today. So great to see them. And we should have had Subby in the lobby. I can't see them. So unfortunately, doesn't look like they are in the lobby, and maybe that's how it would go. Just a quick moment, a second. Zingy, what tyre will you be starting on in an ideal world?
Well, realistically, there's going to be a lot of people on the hards, but you might see some people either thinking they don't have as much pace, or people who think they can run away at the start, who might go mediums, and you might get Dave Raptors, who likes to do a bit of an interesting strategy and probably go soft tyres, but I think even that's a bit of a stretch for him, as they do about 4 laps before they start to die off. So I think mediums or hards is the way to go, unless it's like an early safety car, which then you can take hards to the end from about probably lap 5, I want to say, because was it Felix who took them from lap 8? Granted, there was a safety car and he started pushing lap 11, but they're still way under the safety car, and he managed to. Well, the mediums had 70% towards the end, and if the mediums have 70, then the hards can definitely make it almost a full race distance. So you might see some people doing soft hards. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it could be a possibility, especially with the chances of a safety car. I don't know why we've got a Ferrari in the way still of Grosjean. That is very, very confusing. So unfortunately, that is going to be Grosjean's qualifying done, and that will be JJ in the way, unfortunately. Not deciding to get out of the way still. So, yeah, Grosjean's going to be pretty furious as that one, I'm very, very sure. So that is unfortunately his qualifying done. JJ did not return the position or give the position up, and Grosjean has backed off. So that's that one finished. Robbo, he starts his lap. He's in turn 3 right now, getting nice and close to the outside wall. He does bring it back to the left as soon as you can, braking just as you get to the entrance curve on the exit, 4th gear, nice and smooth. DRS available, bring it to the right, minimise track distance as you do, and then braking just after 75 metres, something like that, I can't quite remember. Anyway, braking nice and soon for turn 8 and up to 9, bring it all the way to the right, brake just before you see the advertisement board at the top, go away from your screen, and then into turn 10, nice and swooping, lovely stuff. Cut the inside curve if you can, but be careful of the wall. That is what we saw a lot of drivers get caught out on in qualifying yesterday. Be careful on the brake bias as you get into the hairpin, and a short shift up. He's in 2nd gear, and up to 3rd eventually. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm surprised at that. Zingy, I know you like to go for some pretty low gears when you're driving. But yeah, I'm not going to be one of those people that do
Be careful
that.
of your words.
Yeah. All right, Robbo, into the final chicane now. Let's see what he can do. A couple of drivers are going to be crossing the line to finish their qualifying situation. That's the Mercedes and the Haas. I don't think they improved. Maybe. I'm not sure. Robbo comes across the line. Is it going to be pole position? And it will be provisional pole by 7/10. He improves. Absolutely epic. We've got a couple more people. Let's see. There's an Alpha Tauri of Mikash up to P2. He can't get close to Robbo, unfortunately. What a shame. Dave Raptors is on provisional pole position. What a job there. Can he get it done? Can he secure it? Gilly close to track limits, and he loses the car on the rear, and he will not be able to improve. Nicely held. Grajak, he's not going to be an improvement, unfortunately. That is his qualifying finish. Waldo, can he have a go at doing anything as he goes through the final chicane, or is that going to be that? He's got no energy left in the car, so the chances of an improvement is very, very slim. It is not an improvement, but this guy is on pole position for the Singapore Grand Prix. How about that?
You notice how this time it's Dave Raptors then Robbo. Usually you'd see it the other way around, but recently Dave Raptors has picked up the pace and he's only tapped it by a 10th. But around a track like Singapore, those little mistakes can cost you for a lap. And I don't think either of these guys did make a mistake, but Dave Raptors managed to just get a tiny bit out of the car more than what Robbo did, and that's how he secured it. This track's very technical and he managed to just float around easily. With Robbo in P2, will McLaren have a good chance at a 1-2?
I think it's going to be a very good shout. Of course, Dave Raptors winning both the Spanish and Italian Grand Prix. Robbo missing out on the podium at the very end in Spain, and I think he finished about 7th or something like that in Italy. So he's not had the easiest start, but as you said, McLaren 1-2. They lock out the front row. They have definitely got a good chance on their hands. Devon Young has served a qualifying ban this weekend for the Singapore Grand Prix event. That does mean Mikash is up on his own in P3. So he has got to try and fight the two McLarens that they have been fighting for this season, all on their own. But the strategy is going to be very important. I reckon there's going to be a couple safety cars, a couple more than F1, because there are 17 cars on the grid.
I mean, the chances of safety car here historically is high, so we'll have to wait and see, but yeah.
Alrighty, Dave Raptors takes pole position, Robbo P2 and Mikash in P3. We'll have a quick look at the rest of the grid, and then we will move on to the race director, just in case, of course. Incident section, and that is it. We will see you in a bit for the race. Ready? Hold! Go! Who can get best start? Oh my days, I'm just going to restart. Go! Who's going to get us? Great start off the line. Small problems.
No.
How many times does this need to happen?
Did we just wing it?
This is 3 weeks in a row. I just hope nobody leaves the lobby. So we are just going to continue. If we can, I do apologise for the delay. Hold on a second. There you go. Alright, sorry for the issues. We will leave that as it is. Alright, thank you very much. And that's going to be the safety car on its way out of the pit lane immediately, unfortunately. Nothing really we can do. We're just going to have to see how this goes because we've restarted 3 weeks in a row now. I don't believe anybody's lost out massively from this. So we are just gonna keep going, unfortunately. Sorry for the issues. Just keeping an eye on the chat, but as I said, I don't think anybody's really lost out. We'll have a quick look to see if people have changed positions. But no, don't think they have.
No, looks fine to me.
Yeah, okay, so we're all good to go. It's just going to be that we will start a little bit later in the race. We're going to have a couple laps under the safety car. I am going to look at the tyre situation because we might see a couple people. That is Gibby, unfortunately, having an issue under the safety car conditions. I think they've lagged back, which does put them all the way out the back. Unfortunately, that is an unrelated issue that we can't really get involved in. Now, this is why I want to look at the tyre situation. Some people could pit. Dave Raptors could pit. Would he want to go to the end on the hards? I don't think so. Waldo, Zingy, he's on the softs. Would you pit if you're a Waldo?
If I were Waldo, yeah, I'll probably stop. Going from the back, not having to stop, keeping 20 seconds off of advantage, and we see who is that going into the pits? It's Grosjean. Now, I did recall seeing a Williams rear end Gelly, I'm sure, and I believe that must have been Grosjean. We're going to see into the box now. Are they replacing a wing by any chance? It does not look like it. However, those two guys at the front suggest that it may be he's making some front wing adjustments. No, he's just going to go into the mediums. So, giving up that P5 for track.
So they did have damage, but they must have forgotten to set it to yes. Unfortunately, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's significant damage, but there is some there, unfortunately.
That's a bit unfortunate then. However, he could go back to his hards and go to the end. He could go back in, change it to yes, get the damage replaced, and then go if the safety car stays out one more lap. If not, then he is mightily screwed, to say the least. He's P17, he's last. And we've got Ruben, who's got a penalty for making a collision with Yarmir, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, as I was saying, if the safety car stays out one more lap, we might see Grosjean being on an ultimate strategy, losing all them places. But we know he's got some good pace, so will he be able to go to the end on the hards, and more crucially, will he be able to keep track position on the older tyres?
I think he's definitely got an idea here, because if he is on that medium tyre, if he is to be on the balanced tyre situation, he then has a couple softs available, he has a couple mediums still available, and he has a hard tyre available. So at the moment he's not in a bad position. So yeah, there is a positive to look at of this one. Hopefully Ruben didn't get a damage out of that incident. We will now be going racing for finally the first time this evening, so thank you very much everybody for your patience. We appreciate that very, very, very much. Dave Raptors, he is leading the way. Robbo is backing up, which isn't exactly sportsmanlike. Robbo has now gone for it as they both react, so that's going to be definitely a question for a lot of people. it's a bit cheeky. Mikash is going to be probably pretty frustrated with that one. That does allow Dave Raptors to get the advantage that he wants on that medium tyre, and now he is going to be, well, looking to try and make a bit of a gap for the pit window, if you get what I mean there. That's a strange situation. Sorry, I'm very speechless after that one. Never ever seen it happen before. Are we going to get any overtakes further behind? Is everybody just kind of a bit spread out at the moment? We are having a couple of looks further down the field, but no, I think we're all good to go for now. Devon Young is side by side. That is actually the Alfa Romeo of Flexard, and Devon Young, no, that's Gibby, who's trying to make progress after their issues earlier on, and they can't quite get through. Flexard does manage to get a good job done. I don't know if he's got a setup on that car because he disconnected from quali, and it said that he was DNF'd, so he didn't actually drive in quali whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, but we see a bit further ahead, Max is under pressure from JJ, the guy that had a bit of trouble in qualifying getting out of the way, so perhaps a penalty could be coming his way, but for now he's just got to get on with it. But he just can't seem to get the traction down compared to the medium runners around him. Everyone, well, the three ahead of him, of Max, Lalick and Monk, are all on that medium tyre, and you can just see the gap that they're creating to JJ, so that small little... Well, that one turn has cost him so much time, and now he's going to be under pressure for Gunter, who's actually on the same tyre, so maybe he's just struggling setup-wise. He was saying it earlier on, so I'll have to wait and see in that one.
For sure. We've got Gilly, who is the closest car to possibly perform an overtake on anybody. He's on the medium tyre compared to Mikash. Then we have a gap behind, that is Tom Brainer, almost on his own. Waltu's just caught up to him and looking for DRS within the next lap or so. So he's going to try his best with that softer tyre compound, but he has spent some time under the safety car, which will have kind of dropped the optimal pace off a little bit, unfortunately. That being said, he can go further. He might try and do a soft medium. He could actually do it. Would you do it, Zingy?
If you're insane, maybe. I think the tyres would go off the cliff at the end like they did. Oh no! Get back to that in a moment. Ruben's out, and that is the second, well, the first proper safety car, that's the second one of the race. And now, I'm going to ask the question to you. If you're Dave Raptors, Gilly, or any of the other runners on mediums, do you pit for hards and go to the end? Or is it too early?
No. I think it's lap 4 that I think there's gonna be more safety cars. I honestly think there will be more safety cars. If I was on the grid right now, I am not pitting. It would be definitely a nice idea to gamble. That being said, he has somewhat fresh medium tyres, and he also has a fresh set of medium tyres as well. So they could do a double medium if there was to be another safety car. So they could possibly go for the hards, but all of the other hard tyre runners aren't going to be pitting, so you're not going to actually gain from those guys. We are getting, that is Waldo into the pit lane. Obviously, it would just be the logical option. Could we see them jump up the field later? Devon Young's going for the risk here.
Yeah, we see Devon Young, Flexhard and Waldo all going... Oh no, he's going mediums! He's going medium tyre, so he's taking inspiration from the guys yesterday, going into that set of mediums. But remember, it is a bit earlier, and of course there are a bit more drivers in F1, so there could be more safety cars. He backs himself on that fresh set, about 4 laps, that he can push his way up the order, and if another safety car comes out, he's absolutely sorted. If not, he might be in a bit of trouble, but with that extra pace initially, if he can just side his way through the order, I think he'll be able to make up quite a few positions. But it's whether he can get to the front and then overtake them is the true question.
I think they're doing a double medium situation, I assume. That means if there is another safety car, they could stay out and get track position. If the other guys get another safety car within a couple of laps, they might then go into the pits and try and go all the way to the end. They would be then on a very similar tyre situation. You've got a lot of corners around this circuit. You'd be able to catch up a lot as well. So actually it might not be a bad idea, and it's definitely not out of the question. Guys on the hard tyres, they are going to have to wait a little bit longer. The guys on the medium tyres, they would be able to pit, but like I said, it's just going to be a hell of a gamble. So these guys who have just pitted, it's not the worst idea. I don't think it's actually that bad of a situation. Grosjean's got his new front wing, and he is on that hard tyre, so I assume he's still going to try and go to the end from here. It would be so difficult for him to get it done, but not impossible, because in theory, those tyres should last. They're just going to be incredibly slow.
You reckon Grosjean is planning to make the record pit stops in this race in a 50%? Because he's already made 2. There's another safety car. Will he pit for the mediums like the rest of the guys have? If you're listening, Grosjean. Nah, don't listen to me, never mind. But it would be quite cool to see someone break that record and still get some good points. Do you know it by any chance? It must be at least 5.
I think there's about 5, maybe 6 pit stops. I think that's probably the record. I doubt anybody's gone to 7. But that is a new front wing from Flexard. So he's had an issue under the safety car. He only loses 1 position. He does then go and put a fresh set of medium tyres on. So he's not going to be too happy. But as I was saying earlier on, you can do a double medium from here. They can both go 15 laps. So they definitely can go this distance. I say 15 laps. I think it's probably more about 13 laps. So that is like optimal pace, but obviously what we saw yesterday, they can go over 20 laps. So he's not in a bad situation. He's just going to have a bit of hard work. He should be able to make pretty easy work out of the slightly worn hard tyre runners, and when those medium tyre runners do get worn out, they might have a go making moves, and then they can pit on a very similar situation as them. So it's not the worst idea. It's just going to take a lot of confidence in the car.
Just trying to think quickly, which doesn't really happen often, but Dave Raptors was on that medium tyre. He's done 5 laps. He's done 1 proper, but 1 and a bit proper pushing laps on him. Do you reckon? I think you know what I'm gonna ask, but do you reckon Dave Raptors may be looking at a soft tyre? We know that Dave likes these softer compounds. He likes to push really early on into the race and really likes to just stretch his legs as the safety car is coming at the end of this lap. But do you think he may go for a bit of a wacky strategy?
I'm going to say no chance. He's in the lead of the Grand Prix. Why would they risk that? They've got 3 wins on the go, possibly today. It's just not worth it. All right, here we go. For the second restart of the evening, the safety car is going into the pit lane around about now. When will they go? Will they react, and will they go for a bit of a closer reaction this time? There you go. He has restarted the Singapore Grand Prix. Mikash sits in P2. They're all a little bit closer than they were. Not massively close, but it's just not as far away as it was. A brilliant restart from a couple cars behind. Going defensive is Max. JJ at the low, but there's contact.
Oh.
3 cars are off. No damage, it but seems there's someone. I believe that's JJ who does have the damage. I don't know if he made contact. No, that's Mercedes.
It's Yarmer.
Oh, Yarme. Yarme has the damage. So lots of people getting involved in that incident off the start. Unfortunately, that's how it's gone. We can't really look at it right now. The top 3 get away as they are. Gilly sat right behind. He wanted to make the most of these medium tyres. He was able to catch up and be very close to Mikash, but unfortunately, it's not looking like it's that straightforward and making actual moves. We got a couple people switching up. That's Gibby having more issues, unfortunately, going down the order, and that is Devon Young, Flexard, and Waldo already up the order on these medium tyres.
Yeah, I mean, we see the medium tyres are working well for people at the moment. Oh no! Is that Tom that just hit the wall on the way into the hairpin? I just seen a bit of front wing fly off, and it looked like it was from the Haas, and it is. Tom has got damage on the hard tyre, and now he's going to be susceptible from everyone behind him, and it's not a tiny bit, it's a massive chunk. So he's going to have to pit, surely. He's got Monk behind him and Max. They're going to be ready to attack whenever they can, which will be probably into the first corner. Oh no! Oh! And there's more damage, there's more contact. That's also Monk with some damage now. Max might also have some. No, he doesn't. But that's 2 cars with damage. There's about 3 cars spinning. And out of all this, Gilly somehow managed to get up into P3. What an overtake.
Absolutely incredible. Well done. Gilly's got the job done, so he did manage to make the most of these tyres. We've got the Red Bull of Larlock. He's got a little bit of trouble behind. Grajak is into P8 after his race start. We got Flexard right behind. He's trying to have a go as well around the outside of Grajak. The 2 back runners earlier on and now in the midfield, and they're side by side. Grosjean backs off. He knows the situation. They've come so far. They might as well try and work together and make more progress. Larlock is on a very different strategy, so they do need to try and think a little bit differently. But Waldo, he's in a golden opportunity right now. He should be going for that double medium, I believe. It would be possible to maybe have a look at a soft, but like Zingy said earlier on, you would have to be mad. It just depends if there's going to be another safety car. Lots of trains breaking away. We have the top two on their own. Then we have a train for P3. Then all of a sudden there was a little bit of a bigger train. With Waldo kind of close at front. We've got Max right behind him, so he's looking to try and maybe catch up to his teammate and work together. I don't know, maybe he doesn't like his teammate.
Max actually on the straight, just try to back off a little bit, let Waldo go, and I think he realises, even if they're not in a voice chat together, that he's on the fresher tyres and he's just going to fly off ahead. 1.3 has been gapped in less than a lap, so those old medium tyres are left to be desired, that's for sure. As we see Larlock now catching up within a second as DRS is enabled for these guys now. It's coming onto the back straight. There's going to be a chance to overtake, or is there? With Larlock making a mistake, maybe it's Vlectard's opportunity to pass. If he makes another one, riding on the curb, so he's going to have a lot of pressure from the Alfa Romeo. Will he get DRS? Yes, he does. He manages to get it just before the zone, right around the outside. And now it's going to be Grosjean's turn to go around the outside as he doesn't have DRS on the Alfa Romeo. And that time went from 7th all the way down to 9th in just 2 corners. So those tyres are really giving up already.
What a shame for him there. He gave it his best shot, but unfortunately that's how it goes. He's very, very close behind those guys, so it's not the worst situation for him to be in. We've got JJ in the Mercedes sandwich right now. He's going to have a look, but he's so close, way too close to get a switchback done. Otherwise he will lose his front wing. Gibby's not got any energy left, so he should be able to have a look at a pretty straightforward move regarding that situation, but they are all very, very close together. And yeah, we could see a little bit of argy-bargy if we are, I want to say lucky, but that's probably not the right phrase to use.
Yeah, JJ using his battery a bit on exit as he's still struggling with that hairpin. It seems as though it might just be a setup issue, or maybe just I'm not feeling too comfortable going into that hairpin. Is it you can lock the rears a lot, and looking up further ahead now, Dave Raptors has let his teammate go Robbo for the lead, so they've gapped Gilly by around 2 seconds, and now Robbo's got the faster tyre, he's on the hards, he's going to be able to go much quicker than Dave Raptors. The switch around points round a bit now, so Robbo's going to conduct the train. It's still a McLaren 1-2, but now Gilly's caught a little bit to his teammate. So, not to his teammate, to Dave Raptors on the same tyre. So will he be able to potentially catch up to the McLarens?
I don't think so. I think they have a bit of a switch up and then they're going to try and get in a rhythm with a bit of a DRS train. I think within the next few laps regardless, Robbo will be faster. So he will just get dragged along Dave Raptors anyway. At the moment for them, it's just about focusing on not getting any warnings and keeping the pace up. Because at the moment, it's Singapore. There's not really any point of you trying to figure out too much on the strategy. That is a big mistake. Dave Raptors yet again losing the car under braking. And unfortunately for him, Gilly is going to be right there. He's on the same tyre. There's no DRS train for Robbo. Will Robbo back off, or is he going to try and run away with it now? And what's he going to be thinking in the back of his mind? Do I want to try and help my teammate out and possibly risk everything? Or am I going to look for the win and try and get my first podium, regardless of a win, this season?
Robbo's got all to play for. It's on the better strategy, I'd say. And Dave Raptors actually boxes at the end of lap 10. It's a bit early. The tyres will make it to the end, but it's... Maybe he's just struggling perhaps with overheating, because that's the only way I can see this hard strategy working out. Oh no! He must have got some damage. The front wing is getting repaired on that McLaren car. He's going to lose a few seconds. He's pit onto the medium tyres. So Dave Raptors, I don't know what he's doing. He's kind of just throwing this race away with the damaged front wing. And then the 2-stop strategy, which I didn't understand. For a 100% I would understand, but for a 50, I know it's Singapore, but will he gain that time back? Is he fast enough on those fresh mediums? We'll just have to wait and see.
I don't think so. Flexard to the outside line on the Aston. Will the Aston be able to hold on? It's very, very close to track limits. He now has the inside line. Max is just going to have to back off, and he plays it smart. He knows what he's got to do. Otherwise, he would lose it to Grosjean. A bit of a moment on the throttle, but he is good to go. Devon Young, he had a couple of struggles. He's just got past Larlock, I believe. He does have a 3-second time penalty, which is going to be crucial for later on. With a circuit that is so prone to safety cars, everybody bunches up, and the penalties become much more effective than usual. So that is not an ideal situation for Flexard, as he makes a bit of a mistake on exit, and that does allow Max to catch back up. But yet again, he doesn't really want to overtake. He's going to try and cover off Grosjean so he doesn't attack him, but he doesn't want to actually pass the Alfa Romeo. Instead, he has been attacked by the Williams. The Williams to the inside line. Looks like he's just going to back off again. He knows what he's doing. There's a bit of contact, and Devon Young, unfortunately, is going to tap him round. Larlock's going to be right there, and Max is going to be very, very unhappy.
Yeah, just a bit of misjudgment from Devon Young coming into the last few corners. People not understanding the braking zone too much, which is fair enough. It's still a new section of the track, but he just couldn't do anything. The car didn't stop, and is slamming into the wall. There's a yellow flag, as we see JJ doing his best Lance Stroll impression, as we also see Mikash making the move on Gilly up into P2, so the hard tyres must be quicker now. Gilly must be thinking to get into the pits. I don't know what other strategy he could be doing, because at the moment that medium soft's not looking too good.
Yeah, they've definitely got to change something. The hard tyres are loving life at the moment. Even though the safety cars have been around, I think that hard tyre definitely still has the significant advantage. It hasn't really covered off that strategy advantage. So yeah, I'm very, very confused. That is going to be Jaromir retiring in the pit lanes. So he does give up on that one, unfortunately. Dave Raptors, I'm still...
Oh no! There's a pile-up in the hairpin between Grosjean and Flexard. A few others might be involved in that. I think someone was trying to go for an overtake, and I think Flexard was the one that got clipped around, so I'm not too sure what happened there, but there's a lot of time lost for the Alfa Romeo. And Grosjean's lost crucial time, and now he's back in this battle for P5 with Devon Young, Max and Larlock, but that's so unfortunate. Thankfully, there's no safety car though, so we've got that going for us.
After getting a phenomenal safety car restart and just being on his own, Waldo now has no trouble ahead or behind him. You know, you want some trouble in front of you, but he's relaxing at the moment. He's in P4, he's good to go. We have Grosjean into the pit lane yet again. Unfortunately, he's going onto the what? Oh no, that's another driver. That is onto the softs, it looks like somebody is going, unless I am just seeing colours. That is going to be a medium tyre and a new front wing for the Williams. That is Flexard onto the soft tyre, interestingly. Safety car has been deployed. I did not realise that. So that must be, is that Monk who's got damage, or is he just pitted recently? He's pitted somewhat recently. Who has damage?
Doesn't look like anyone's got damage. I think everyone's just coming in for tactical pit stops, try to get into those fresh tyres. We know how important it can be in Singapore. And now Robbo is in the best place in the world to win this race. He needs to pit, he really does. Mikash is also in the running, but he might drop a little bit further behind due to that gap being around 4 seconds, but if Robbo doesn't pit now, he's just throwing away the race, basically. Gelly, this is perfect timing for him to pit also onto those hard tyres. I know the mediums will be quicker, but they don't seem to be quicker for too much, as we see, 6 laps before the hard tyres start to get more powerful. We've seen that gap right down by Robbo, and then but 9 laps and they overtook Dave Raptors, so without that gap that the McLaren's created at the start, is it going to be viable for the medium runner, the hard runners to go into mediums? I mean, they kind of have to, but will it be enough?
Yeah, that is the question. I think it definitely is the only option. I think it will be enough. It will be close at the end, but it's all about who manages the ERS realistically, and if people work together or if they fight. So Robbo has to make sure he nails the safety car restart and he'll be good to go. Lots of people into the pit lane. Everybody, more or less, is going to be in the pit lane. Devon Young is going to be loving this. He does go on to his second set of mediums, I assume, unless he is going to try and go onto the hards. Max gets another 5-second time penalty for contact with somebody else, but somehow he's in front. So I don't really understand how he's got the penalty. No, it's just because of the pit stop situation. Sorry about that. That is an interesting situation. Max might have to either pit again later or hope that he can get it removed if he doesn't pit to serve it. Situation as of now, of course, Robbo, Mikash and Gilly still lead the way. Dave Raptors managed to get himself into P5, but that is absolutely terrible news according to where he was originally. So a heck of a shame. Disqualified from the session is Devon Young, blocking the pit lane. Blocking the pit lane.
He must have spun, he must have clipped his rear left on the wall on the exit and spun around. Couldn't get it going quick enough, and that's him disqualified. That's the only explanation I can really see. And by the way his car was parked, I think that might have been the case.
That is a heck of a shame. Very easy to spin at the pit exit on Singapore. You want to get right out, and then all of a sudden you've got to brake, you've got to put the throttle back on, the tyres are cold. I don't know what to say, honestly. That is so unfortunate. And the championship now, Dave Raptors is going to be feeling so sorry for himself that he's in P5, but P2 in the championship, he is disqualified. He's going to score no points whatsoever. I think it would be classed as probably a DNF more than a disqualification. I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to double check. But that is absolutely tragic. Will we go for the restart this lap? I'm not sure.
I think it might be one more and then we'll get the restart. But yeah, it's a shame. A bit of just an unforced error, really, and that's cost him some valuable points in the championship. McLaren are going to be loving it. They've got 2 drivers in the top 5. And if Dave Raptor's showing the pace he did earlier on, he can make his way up through these guys, especially Gilly on that hard tyre initially, and maybe fight Mikash, help Robo potentially win if he does lose enough time. So McLaren still have a chance to win this race, but I think it's a bit more compromised when you've got someone as quick as Mikash fighting you for the win. Although Dave Raptors is in the box again, he's pitting.
He's not confident with that medium tyre. I assume he's going back onto the hards? Surely? Okay. Do they have damage that they were... Well, it might be. I thought I was going to see rain earlier on, and yeah, I was very confused. What I'm going to have to do is quickly leave you guys on board with a driver, maybe Robbo or Mikash Gilly. We'll leave you on with Gilly, and then I will be right back, and Zingy's going to talk to you guys about what the wet conditions might bring and who would benefit most.
Well, the wet conditions, in qualifying at least, they're very tricky because, well, I can't really think of much to say. It was qualifying, so my experience was much different to the race, and it's dry at the moment, so I'm not too sure what's going to be happening with Dave Raptor's tyre temperature more than anything else, because they will start to overheat as I don't know if you guys can see, but he's locking the rear end. I'll just try and talk to you guys through this. Is he involved? Is he battling people perhaps? I'm not sure. He moved up and down positions there, but yeah, if this rain is actually a thing and it's coming down any moment now, it's got to lash it down. Dave Raptors has got to look after his tyres so much, otherwise he will have an issue of overheating. And we can't even see a sparkle of rain yet. I cannot see nothing from where I'm situated on the track, and that's the Anderson Bridge just before the hairpin, where unfortunately Grajak and Flexhard made a mistake. Oh no! It is raining now.
It is.
It's starting to rain.
I thought I just saw it as soon as I got back on the screen, and I thought I saw it earlier on, but I think that I think I might just be seeing things earlier on. So maybe it was kind of not wishful thinking, but just imagination. But oh my days. Okay, is Robbo pitting?
Well, we have to wait and see. Coming out the last corner, he sees the rain coming down. He's not. Who's going to take the risk? Someone's going to take this. 1-2 is in. We also see who is that. There's a Mercedes of Gibby. Stayed it the whole time under those safety cars and now going to be benefiting. He's from the hards onto the inters. Tom, Rob. We see Monk, Grajak, Flexhard. Half the field. Max is also pitting. Gunter. And interestingly, JJ stays out. Now, is it going to be one of those wet spells which stay for about 1 or 2 laps and people might try and stick it out and gain the track time out of it? Or, like this game usually does, if you're not on the right tyre at the right time, will it screw them over? We've got how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 9, 10 people on the wets and on the inter, sorry. and about 5 of them on the dries. The guy that's hardest up at the moment is Dave Raptors. The track's only getting wetter, and you can start to see a little bit of glossy kind of look on the track, which suggests that it is coming more towards that intermediate period. So, has Dave Raptors pulled out an absolute belter of a strategy?
It makes sense that it would be dry again later, and yet again, maybe McLaren are splitting the strategies. But I don't really understand why you wouldn't usually go onto the Inter anyway, because usually you lose so much time by being on a slick in a wet conditioned tyre. It would just not be viable, and that is Gibby retiring from the race. Is that on the exit of the corner? So they must have just locked up with these, unfortunately, intermediate tyres that are very hard to control, and that is yet another retirement. 4 retirements out of this race. I assume we're going to be going in this lap. I'm very confused at why we actually stayed out last lap, because we were pretty much bunched up. But anyway, it is what it is. We will finally be going racing once again. Robbo leads the restart and Mikash in P2. And we, of course, have one less driver. These guys are going to have to catch up a little bit more. They will be able to do it. They're weaving a little bit to try and get a bit more temperature into the tyres. Usually you drag the brakes, but you can't really do that now. If you want the front tyre temperature, the safety car goes around the final corner now. When will Robbo go for it? He is the one to make the call. He's not going for it yet. He's still waiting, and now he's gone for it there. He goes over the crest of the hill, gets the traction down. Lovely stuff. Contact further behind. More issues, and I do not believe it, but that is Tom Brainer yet again having issues off the safety car restart. The Ferrari goes through JJ up the order, and he's just having to let everyone go. What a shame there for Tom Brainer. We've got Grosjean trying to make the move around the outside. He's now to the inside. Should be pretty straightforward. He's given it his best shot as Tom, but that is not going to be any more use, unfortunately. Mikash is having a look, but Dave Raptors, look at him right now.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying. He has pulled out the most incredible strategy I've seen in quite a while. Look at the dry runners. Gilly on those hards, locking the rears. Dave Raptors is also locking the tyres, but the intermediate conditions to make the brakes a bit more sensitive. He's right up behind Gilly though, and Gilly, he's not going to defend it. He's not going to use his battery. He knows realistically that Dave Raptors is going to go past him. As we see Monk on the rear end of the other Ferrari of JJ. Grosjean's also right there. Will he go for a move up the inside into the hairpin? We've seen it a couple of times in the F1 tier, but no, he's going to keep it behind for now. Grosjean on his teammate. He thinks he's got the pace, and at the moment he does. He manages to get past Monk. Monk just kind of lets him go. And now JJ is going to be under threat from the other Williams.
Absolutely incredible. Everything is going on everywhere. Grosjean is trying to get a better exit than the Ferrari, and he does eventually get the job done on JJ. JJ trying to hold on for dear life, but surely this can't work. Monk decides not to go for the dive bomb, and I'm very, very surprised at that one. Sure, you don't want to go for a mega dive bomb, but in these conditions, you've got to. There's a bit of a scary moment now with Gunter and Max. Unfortunately, a little bit of pushing and shoving. Max holds on for now. Gunter will have to back off. Dave Raptors is gifted the lead by his teammate. He made it past Mikash. Now Robbo lets him go, and we could see a massive breakaway here from Dave Raptors. These guys still aren't pitting, so they are banking on this strategy working. They are really going to have to hope that there isn't, a 20-second gap, maybe 17 seconds. I think I remember before that you needed to try and get back into the race. I think this could be definitely still Dave Raptors' win at the moment. But I don't know. They're not losing a massive amount, but all of a sudden they are. Never mind. I spoke too soon.
Yeah, Robbo defends from Grosjean. He ends up locking the brakes on the outside. A bit less traction, a bit less power. Look at Robbo doing an absolutely brilliant job of holding the intermediate runner up. He goes off track eventually, and he's up into P2, but he's held him up 4 seconds. 4.3. Grosjean is going to have to then make that up to the other McLaren of Dave Raptors. Has Robbo gifted. Oh, as he drifts around the hairpin, and he just manages to keep it. But as I was saying, will he be able to not only hold up Monk, but just keep the car on track? Really look at conditions now, he's not even applying like half brake. Oh, and there's more contact as we see the Alpha Tauri of Mikash sliding off into the barrier. Gilly also just not getting the turn, and these tyres are far too slow. Surely Robbo's now got to pit. He's helped his teammates as much as he can, but there's only so much he can do, and he's got to box now.
I don't know. I mean, he's come so far. He wants to go into the pit lane, but the Aston Martin goes for the overtake on the inside, so he had to lift off. And that is going to be a very, very difficult decision to make. They were trying their best. He gets a 5-second for speeding. Mikash almost did the same thing as they locked the rears into the entry, and they avoid getting the penalty. Gilly's also in. That is an absolutely tragic day there for those guys. And Waldo, who was in such a good position earlier on, why are they on the wet tyre?
Gonna replicate Dave Raptor's strategy, but at the moment, there's not enough water on the track. It's too wet. I know he's coming back and he goes over the line. Oh, well, that's just a bit of a shame, isn't it? He's really trying to get the car slowed down, but the wet tyres are just not the viable option. And he's threw away a good points result too. Looking up the grid, here comes Robbo on JJ, up the inside, a bit of contact is made. Coming onto the straight now is Gunter. Retires on exit. I don't know if that's voluntary or not. But at the moment, these two are going side by side into the left-hander. We've seen so many collisions here before. He gets tapped a little bit, Robbo. And he taps JJ back. There's a bit more contact as the Ferrari and McLaren are fighting so hard. But for only P7, you'd expect these guys to be up the front. But after the horrible strategy choices they made, they're now stuck languishing down here, so what do you do in this situation? Of course, you just need to fight for the best you can do, but truly that's got to be demoralising.
For sure, the tyre situation is just, like, pretty much nothing difference-wise. They are legitimately in P7 with a time penalty, which seemed legitimate, so unfortunately, they have got a lot of things going wrong for them. So that's Mikash and Robbo, of course, having their issues. Devon Young, championship contender, he's out of this race. Dave Raptors right now, he has got a golden opportunity to give himself all of a sudden a safety margin for the rest of the field, which is going to be absolutely incredible if he can make this work, because he can afford to take more risks later on in the championship, or he can just casually cruise. I know this is only race 3, but 3 races with the point system that we have is a significant advantage.
Trust me, I know all about it. As we see, Max, he's struggling a bit. He needs to stop touching those white lines. Max, you better stop touching them, they're very slippery. And you're going to spin off nearly like Grajak done while trying to overtake Robbo. And speaking of, by the way, that gap went from 4.3 to 2.8, and I think he used a bit more battery. But knowing the wet conditions, you can save so much. So Grajak on pace is faster than the McLaren. So Robbo has got to be thanked a lot this race, no matter where he finishes, because he's done Dave Raptors a solid. And I mean, it's not over yet. We've still got 11 to go. But do you reckon that Dave Raptors can save that battery a bit more than Grajak and just cruise to the end, or what do you think about this?
It's very possible, and it's very difficult to overtake at Singapore, very difficult to overtake in intermediate conditions, so if you add them together, it's just virtually impossible. That being said, Grajak's had pace in the season. He's done very well in qualifying. He's had some pretty bad races. Well, I say that. He's only actually raced in Spain. He had pretty good pace, but unfortunately after the restart he didn't put the right setup on, so he was down at the back of the grid. He does have pace this season, so he can do well. At the moment, it's not looking bad at all. Maybe Dave Raptors is looking to just try and save, as you said, the energy and then just control the pace from there, and thinking about the longer game later on into this race. But if Grajak does get too close and puts the pressure on Dave Raptors, all of a sudden that saving phase that he was in just becomes completely irrelevant, and it's just useless.
Of course you say that, but he's going to have more battery to defend with if and when Grajak catches, so that, obviously they're both going to have to use battery. Either Grajak's going to fake it, he's going to burn all his battery, Dave Raptors then, and Grajak can make an easy overtake. Or Dave Raptors is going to have a mature head, he's going to stay calm. It's the wet conditions, it's hard to overtake. The gap's 1.8. but realistically, you need to be... Well, Grashak's got the pace as we look further back quickly, and we see Mikash overtaking Tom for P9 and 2 valuable championship points in the bag. Tom's going to try and go for the switchback, which he gets not a bad run. Mikash is compromised on that inside, and again he's going to do the old switcheroo, and he absolutely pulls his pants down, and he's going to be side by side into the old Singapore sling, which has been remodified, and it looks as though Mikash is now going to get the switchback. It's the switchback season apparently, as we see these two battling for P9 like it's the championship finale, and fair enough to them, they have made it work. And Mikash has got that position.
Something incredible there from Tom. He was riding the inside curb in the wet conditions through turn 12. So fair play. That is not easy to do. Well done indeed. That is JJ just up in front. So unfortunately, after keeping very, very good pace of the likes of Robbo, he has dropped back. And now he might be in trouble from Mikash if he's not careful. So that is a hell of a shame, and it does mean that he's going to be out of time penalty range. He also has damage, and that is going to be a safety car deployed. So a big tap on the wall just seems to be enough to bring out the safety car. So that does seem to be, unfortunately, a little bit of an occurrence in the 22 game, but a big problem in the F1.23 game.
I don't know why you're complaining. This is the most realistic game we've had yet. Genuinely, the amount of safety cars that have came out in a wet race, you know, they have to make sure all the drivers are safe, you know. People like Gunter, Nilly, Nilly goes off. As I was saying, yeah, Gunter's struggling, man. I think we need to perhaps have a red flag or something, because it's getting a bit ridiculous now. The weather's far too much. Waldo's on the extreme wets, and I think it's time to call the race there, don't you think?
Maybe. He's got to stay out. He has to stay out. Hope that the other guys bunch up. Hope that Dave Raptors and Grajak pit, and then maybe he can get into this one. So it's not impossible. It's going to be a very, very difficult job to get done. Flexart drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. So unfortunately, the Delta has not gone to plan, and he's going to have to serve that one later. So back up the order, down the order, up the order, and unfortunately now it's going to be back down the order. It's not impossible, but it is getting a lot later into the race. Dave Raptors is pitting. Grajak, why is he pitting? He shouldn't. He should change things. Actually, that being said, he does want to try and help, not his teammate, but his friend if he can, because if everybody else is going to pit, then he can unlap himself. So really, he did need to pit. He's got to hope that Flexar pits. He's got to hope that Max pits. If they don't, then they'll be in big trouble. So this is good news. This is good news. And Grajak, as I said, although they're not teammates, is a good friend.
Oh, hold on a minute. They're going enters. I thought it was getting wetter. Look at the pit box there. You can see the rain lashing down. I thought it was going to be time for perhaps wet tyres, but these guys think otherwise. The enters are going on. It might be a case of it's getting wetter and more risky, but the enters are still quicker, like it usually is in real life. Which would make sense, but I mean, look at the rain now. It's starting to heavily go down. You can hardly see the dry line in some parts of the track, so these guys need to be very careful, especially on the restart when everyone's bunched up together. We don't have Robbo in P2 or Dave Raptors in P2. It's finally not a McLaren Fest up front. It's more of the Williams guys that are going to be up front, so maybe they may converge on Dave Raptors, and who knows.
Yeah, for sure. Once again, Monk finds himself up there, and this time Grajak finds himself in the fight as well. So it is a Williams 2-3 looking for the podium. Robbo serves his time penalty, so that's good news on his side. Anything can happen. It is going to be a bit of a mad dash to the end. And Waldo is going to be, I wanted to say, back in the race. How did they not come out in front?
Well, Dave Raptors tried to let Waldo go. A nice gesture. But the safety car just didn't let him overtake, so unfortunately for the Aston Martin driver, it's going to be a lap down. Yeah, you can see again, Dave Raptors is going to go ahead. Grajak doesn't try to take advantage of it, so they just want everyone to be a lap ahead. I think he's going to get disqualified though. I'm waiting for it. No? He's in the race? I think he's fine.
It should work. It should work. So yeah, he's fine.
Sure, yeah.
I'm very confused because I thought he got out perfectly fine. I didn't think that he was going to be beaten to the pit exit. So, yeah, that is a hell of a shame. Tom, his PC has crashed, so we're going to quickly get him back into the lobby. I do apologise for the quick pause. I am very sorry. This will not take long at all. And then we'll be back into it, and we should be going for the restart. Alrighty, that's sorted, and we are once again good to go. And, Gunter Gilly will do. I mean, if 3 people are doing this, there's got to be some sort of explanation there.
Well, Gunter's got to take a risk. He was struggling in Spain a bit. He had okay pace, but he had a lot of mistakes in the wet, and he thinks that the wet tyres are better. He's probably been told by Mark that it's better. We all know Gilly, he's that guy that just kind of lingers around P3 without any penalties. Quite annoying, but he's also very quick. And Mulder returning, he wants to make his mark, and if he can get around in time, along with JJ, if the weather keeps on getting worse, which I think you can see on the screen, it's getting really bad now. Do you reckon that these wet tyre runners might actually have a chance of making it up the field?
Yes, I do, because now more and more people do it. It would make sense. Lalek still opted for the Inters. We're still spending more time under the safety car, and Waldo, after having a bit of time not able to unlap himself, he's going to spend a long time quite far back. He's on the wet tyre, which might be okay by the time he catches up. The question is, will he catch up? Will the safety car go in? It's still going to be good for at least one more lap, but he is going to have to push as hard as he can. He can't afford to wait.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say, really. It's a tricky situation, isn't it? You've got so many different strategies this race. We've seen it all unfold. The rain, from Dave Raptors making that the best strategy I've seen in my life work out. And then you've had other people who have followed suit, had some good results, because the two Williams, can I say, are absolutely incredible, considering where they started and all the issues they had. Flexhard was at the back. Max has always just kind of been around about that midfield area, so he's done well to retain that P5 position. And with one more lap on the safety car, these guys will have a chance to come back.
We'll see. We will see. Safety car won't be coming in for a while. Lots of people are moving around. That is another pit stop. That is from Flexhard. I assume he's going maybe for some wet tyres. There's literally no other reason to make a pit stop, surely. Unless he's under the impression that you can serve his penalty under the safety car, which he can't. So yeah, wet tyres. Oh. Huh? Okay, so, right. Lap 25 out of 31. It wouldn't dry up really enough. The question is, if the safety car goes on for long enough and the race goes on for long enough, we might actually end up with intermediate conditions at the end again. But I don't think that's going to happen. The Inter guys are just going to hope to defend. Dave Raptors is going to hope that everybody can create a massive wall. We'll see, though, because if it is full wet conditions, those Inters are going to be possibly losing their front wings, and it's not going to be hard to lose your front wing when you're on the wrong tyre.
Of course not. There's going to be a lot of swiggling around. There's going to be a lot of cold tyres on the intermediates. We need to take that into account too. Not only are going to have less grip, tyres are going to be absolutely freezing. Excuse me, compared to those guys on the wet tyres. JJ, interestingly enough, is the first guy on wet tyres. Now, I don't want to gas JJ up too much, but do you reckon? Do you reckon, Aaron? Do you reckon he'll do it?
Honestly, I can't say. I don't know. The tyre situation obviously is what it is. On our screen, it's obviously getting wetter. The rain is. I was going to say a bit of British slang there. It is absolutely crashing it down. So it's not gonna be easy, but it's not like there's massive puddles on the circuit. So at the moment, I'd still say the Inters have the advantage. We're about to go for the restart. Finally, of the Singapore Grand Prix. Larlock catches up. Waldo is going to be a bit further back, but he's still somewhat in the race with the chaos that we have with the strategy. Lap 25 out of 31. It's not long to go at all. When will Dave Raptors go for the restart? He's still backing up, He finally goes for the restart. Grishak reacts very, very well, but the limiter maybe caught those guys out. They're going to be careful as they go through the final corner. The traction's going to be low. Oh, no. JJ is round after being once again for the second week in a row in a prime position, loses the car, and he is going to be out of contention. Gilly goes off the circuit as he loses a massive amount of momentum, and he loses it to Flexard and Robbo. Robbo is now the lead wet tyre runner. No, he's not. I don't know who's the lead wet tyre runner. That is Flexard. He manages to just about get in front. Robbo now gets him on the exit. Gilly's round. More issues for Ferrari. Robbo gets there. Flexard, he's to the outside line. He should have the space. Robbo's very, very, very close. It's a bit cheeky, but he's just about made it work, and he holds on. That is a very interesting situation. He's only 0.7 seconds away from Tom Brainer. Tom Brainer, can he hold on? He was disconnected from the lobby earlier on. He's now back up, and you can see the advantage that the wet tyre has. Okay, Robbo, he might win this race.
Yeah, Robbo taking the biggest W I've seen since Spanish Championship with broken limbs. And we can see now, he's going to go potentially up the inside of Grajak as he hit the wall earlier on in the lap. Oh no! Now Robbo's hit Grajak coming into the hairpin. That was a tad unfortunate. And maybe he just didn't predict the movement of the Williams on that intermediate, and you can't really blame him. I mean, the car just doesn't turn at all, and the Grajak, yeah, you can't even outbrake him. He can't even outbrake Robbo, and if he tries to, he's probably going to end up in the wall. I mean, you can see the conditions now, it's absolutely lashing it down at the moment, and Robbo, I mean, realistically, he's got this in the bag. He just needs to stay calm, overtake about 4 cars, and he's done it. But, I mean, look at the weather now, it's absolutely, well, I've said it before, it's lashing down, but it's getting worse and worse, and I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, no, there won't be a safety car, but if it were earlier on in the race, as we see Larlock overtaking Flex hard as he goes into the pit lane is Dave Raptors is taking a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. He can't keep the car on track. Neither can Monk. Someone who is though, surprisingly, is Max. Look at Max go. He's only 5 tenths back, and will he look for the move on the Williams?
Should be possible. They're both on the same tyre, but it's so tricky to get the traction down and then get alongside, so he will have to wait for now. But Robbo, he's right there. He's going for the move on Mikash from that far back. He knows what's at stake. He's gonna go for the win. In the background goes just Grajak. He's on the inters. As I said, it's just impossible to drive these tyres. No, you're not gonna have a look on the inside there, surely. Get him on the exit. Come on, let's see it. He can't get him on the exit. He's gonna have to wait a little bit longer. And honestly, he has nothing to risk here. He doesn't need to risk it. He just makes the moves here and there, and then he's good to go. There is literally no point in going for a risk. He goes for the outside line just before the bridge. He gets the job done, and now he's got Monk, the only car in front, to catch up, and then Dave Raptors. Now, will there be communications? Will Dave Raptors say, please let me have this? Or is Robbo going to go, you know what, I'm going to drive my own race. You've won 2 races already. I'm going to try and catch up to you in the championship now. I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. Monk seems to be maybe banking on staying out, so they let Robbo go. And to be honest, I don't think they really had an option to fight it anyway. So Dave Raptors is now in trouble by 0.2 seconds, 0.1 seconds, and now he has lost the race lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. Just about there. Yeah, there you go. Robbo is in the lead of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, I just want to mention that Grajak has entered the pit lane, nearly smacking that rear right on the entry. And now, I don't know if he's got damage or what. It looks like he has from that contact earlier on with the wall. So he's going to come in for wet tyres and go to the end. But unfortunately for him, it's not going to do him much help, as we see Gilly now up into P6, but he's 14 seconds behind the next intermediate runner. Why is there such a big gap between all the wet runners and inters? I know they put under safety car, but didn't they all catch up? Or am I Am I missing something here?
So Gilly had issues earlier on. He actually was spun, or I don't know if he spun himself out, or he was spun out of the race earlier on. So that is why he's so far back. But other people just weren't able to catch up. Flexard had to serve a drive-through penalty, and he's pitted again for whatever reason. You're not going to get the fastest lap out of that kind of antics, but yeah, it's very confusing. The top two, they are going to switch already. Robbo catches up. It was the opposite way around earlier on, and this time Robbo is going to go for the lead, and Dave Raptors has literally no question about it. Okay, safety car is deployed. It's not going to be out for long, so people can't really afford to pit.
The top guys can. Everyone else in interest can. They've got the gap to everyone else. Dave Raptors, my goodness, have you been saved? He's pulled off a great strategy. But I won't deny it, he has got lucky. Max, Mikash and Monk have also gotten quite lucky. They will probably retain their positions as Gilly's 15 seconds back. And under that Delta safety car, he's going to have to retain about 40% of his pace. And in the wet conditions, you might as well just run at that point because he's trundling down the track. You can see he's just not got any pace because obviously the Delta. Unless he will lose positions. What is Max doing?
I don't think this is good for Dave Raptors. I think this is exactly what he didn't want. He's now going to be bunched up to the rest of the grid with a time penalty. Yeah, he's going to be on the intermediate condition, but he had such a gap to the rest of the wet tyre runners, and the only cars behind him were intermediate tyre drivers. So that is exactly what he didn't want, because at that point he was securing a P2. And now all of a sudden, it's going to be under a massive threat. Gilly is going to be looking at the podium on time penalties, and Max has got a time penalty just then. So all of a sudden, it's changed, and Dave Raptors is not going to be happy.
Dave Raptors is also nearly going to bring it into the wall as he exits the pit lane on those cold wet tyres. So he's going to have to get up to temperature quick, as the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. You need 2 racing laps. I believe on this game you can sometimes get 1, but it's a very rare occasion that you do, so it's going to be 2 laps of racing. Max has decided to stay on the intermediates when he had a good points position in the bag. He's going to hope that Robbo bends it and takes everyone out with him, but I don't see a reality where Max is going to get anything out of this apart from depression and insomnia.
It's possible. We'll see. Now, the question is, what will Robbo do? He's leading the safety car restart. I assume he's going to go as early as he possibly can because he wants to make sure that his teammate doesn't lose out as much as he really needs to. So the safety car will go in. I assume Robbo is going to try and follow that safety car for as long as he possibly can before he has to wait up, because otherwise it would just be completely counteractive. Max is looking for a podium. Gilly, though, he is going to be threatening them. They still have to slow down a little bit, and he will be able to get within their time penalty range. But, Grishak, he's retired. He's retired. I do not believe it. And that is going to be, unfortunately, his race done. The safety car will be going in, and when will Robbo go for it? He goes for it now. So he did exactly what he needed to do. Max has got caught out on the pit limiter. So is Robbo. So is Robbo. Max wasn't able to go for it. I do not believe what has just happened, and that is going to be everybody bunched up even more than I expected. Max is going to be sat there P3. Oh, no, Dave Raptors goes off the circuit. He just about stays on. Gilly is going to get contact. I don't know what Dave Raptors was doing there. He just drove straight into the side of Gilly. Gilly's going to be threatened by Mikash, who's now going to be in the fight for the podium. Can he hold on? We go off camera. We go back onto the camera. Mikash to the inside line. There's almost contact. Gilly is going to be furious. He's now going to lose out. We're on lap 30 out of 31. We have not got long of this race left to go.
Yeah, we see Monk all over the back of Max coming into the middle sector. He's just not got any grip. And with that 3-second time penalty that was unlikely to get removed, it looks as though his race is going to go down the pan. As we see, he just can't turn in. You can't really blame him from that. He's just trying to get the car around in one piece. As it's now free wide. Oh my days, it's free wide coming into the Singapore line. Max, thankfully, backs out of it. He tries to get some sort of switch back. But listen, if you've not got any grip, you can't do that on guys who are on the much superior tyres. And now Monk has come out of nowhere, and from what Grajak was looking for in a P2, it's now his teammate.
Absolutely incredible. He's literally got nothing he can do, Max, but honestly, this is going to be the best case scenario. He might be able to hold on from Dave Raptors because he has that damage, but other than that, it's going to be pretty straightforward. Mikash goes for P2, and they're going to look for their first podium of the season if they can possibly get it. Side by side, he's going to have to try and outbrake him. It's not going to be so easy, but he gets the job done. Absolutely epic. And finally, Mikash is going to look for a podium. He's getting one more lap under his belt, and he will be able to go for it. The Williams of Monk sits right there. He doesn't need to worry about Max. He only needs to worry about Gilly. Gilly's looking for the P4. He has to get past the intermediate tire runner and hope that Monk and Mikash fight.
Monk made a mistake actually coming into turn 2. And Max can't just do anything. He's got no grip on the intermediate tires. And he's just trying to make it to the end. And speaking of people just trying to make it to the end, we see Dave Raptors without a front wing. But we will look back to the action now. Gilly's made some sort of a mistake coming out of the corners before the back straight. And it looks as though it's getting lighter. Do you see that? It looks as though it's getting much lighter now, no?
Very, very, very slightly, but still, he should have the advantage at the moment. It probably wouldn't change that quickly. He just can't find a way through. Looks like he's just going to have to secure a P4 at this point. It's not a bad result after a race that he's had. Both drivers still losing the car, so regardless, it's not really an ideal tyre situation for any driver. We go a bit further down the order. We've got some very close cars. That is Larlick right behind Tom Brainer, and Waldo is now in the points after being a lap down earlier on. Absolutely incredible, and that's why you do not ever give up in league racing. Larlick sitting behind him. He wants to have a go. Time penalty wise though, he will get both of these positions, so he doesn't really need to do too much as long as the Haas doesn't hold him up too much. But this guy, he is finally going to get it this time around. For the first time in Season 9, Robbo will win a race in Singapore. Robbo wins the Singapore Grand Prix. What a job from him in the end. It was not easy. He's got it done. And Mikash, for the third time, he manages to get it done. A podium is to his name. Monk to P3. What a race. Finally back on the podium. I think he's been fine for the podium every single race so far. Max P4, Dave Raptors, and Gilly. A mistake at the end. Loses it out. And they actually drop behind Dave Raptors by 7 tenths. Gunter will finally cross the line. They will score a P7 position. Very good job from them. Larlick gets past Tom Brainer, and they will be able to get in front of all two in the end. Epic job indeed. Everybody else will finish the race. Unfortunately, JJ is not going to be happy with that one. He will finish outside of the points. Flexard as well. What a roller coaster of a race. Not in a good way, but that is the race done. Max a P4 on the wrong tyre.
I flamed him for the strategy, and I would like to take back my words that it was actually quite impressive. I must say, I mean, keeping it on track with those... now it's fine, but previously it was chucking it down, and he managed to just retain that P4. Even with the penalty, he manages to stay ahead of championship leader Dave Raptors, who doesn't have a front wing, and Gilly, who is known for his consistency, which kind of got thrown out the window when he spun, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, what a race. I don't have much to comment on it. It was just insane, wasn't it? We see Flexhard, the last car to cross the line in P11.
Yep, it was an absolutely crazy one. I know Singapore is always very, very eventful, but when you put wet weather, not only inters but full wet as well, it just goes absolutely crazy. We had softs, we had mediums, we had hards, and then we of course had wets and inters. We had every colour of the rainbow, almost, involved in this race. We will get the results on our screen. We'll get a quick podium celebration image. Just have a look. There you go. There is Robbo for the first time this season on the top step. Robbo takes the win. Mikash in P2 and Monk in P3. Max Dave Raptors with the fastest lap in P5. Then Gilly, Gunter, Larlick, Tom Brainer, JJ Flexard, Waldo Grajak, and Gibby up the end there, DNFing unfortunately, followed by Yaramir Rubin and Devon Young. being disqualified by the game earlier on. Unfortunately, we go for the race director just in case if we need to, and like I said, the colours of the rainbow, absolutely everything on the board there. Go through the incident section just in case, and the pit stops as well for the final time. And we will be back for the post-race interviews. We will see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI F1.5 EU Championship. We're today for the Singapore Grand Prix post-race interviews. Robbo, you've finally done it this season. Well done. It was looking like it wasn't your day. All of a sudden it was looking like it was your day. Can you take us through that one?
Yeah, it was a pretty mad one. Quali was good, me and Dave on the front row. And obviously he went on to hard, mediums, I went on to hards. We tried to create a gap with the first safety car restart to let him go. And then obviously there's a second one, but he got wing damage and then my pace was looking quite good. It was looking to be, if there was no safety cars, a relatively simple one-stop, simple win for me. But then obviously the game decided to mix it up a bit. Telling me there was rain in 10 minutes, and then the next minute the track was completely wet. So that kind of messed everything up. But then at the end, we were unsure whether full wets would be better than inters. I was at the back, so I went for it, and yeah, just worked great from there. I think the pace was great overall for the entire weekend, so I'm pretty happy with that win.
Yeah, well done. Very well deserved. Absolutely incredible. And finally, you've got it on the board and you're making your way up the championship order. So, yeah, congratulations. Well deserved. Next race, it would be in 2 weeks. Whether you're going to be there or not, do you like Japan as the circuit? Do you prefer it over Singapore? And do you hope it will be wet or dry?
I probably prefer Singapore as a track. Suzuka, though, definitely dry. It's deadly enough with curbs in the dry. So, but if it's wet, that's fine. We'll deal with it. It's not a bad track for me. I've always been quite decent on it, and we have enough time to get some laps in and see what's going on around that track on the new game.
Awesome. I can't wait. All right. Thank you very much. Well done today, Robbo. A bit of a different final question. Instead of 3 words, I'm going to ask, who do you think is going to win the F1 race tomorrow?
Oh my god. I'm going to say I reckon George Russell might have a decent chance on it.
All right, thank you very much. And we'll see you next time. Well done today. Thank you.
Thanks. See ya.
We move on to Dave. Dave, that was tragic. You were doing a phenomenal job. Basically, you had exactly the opposite to what your teammate had. It was looking good, looking bad, looking good, and then looking terrible at the very end. Can you take us through that one?
Yeah, I mean, qualifying was qualifying I was not expecting to be even battling for the top three, honestly, and I just put an incredible lap and grabbed pole. I was going to look to do a two-stop, go medium, and then go to inters, but the rain came quite early, so I ended up trying to stretch them out, but I got some wing damage, which dropped me back, but the safety car brought me back into play, and then I did probably the most ridiculous strategy going on to inters in the dry. I didn't even think it was going to work, honestly. I was just going to go for something random, see what happened to try and bring me up the field. Yeah, it ended up working, and I thought I might be able to just chill to the end on these inters, but then obviously the wet conditions came in and I just didn't read it quite right. And it brought me back, and then I went on to, and then just before Robbo had overtaken me on the wet, another safety car came out. That was the fourth safety car of the race. Obviously Godzilla was on the track today. I mean, yeah, I don't really have much to comment on the safety car. I think from what Robbo was talking about, there was I think it was a throttle limiter, which honestly shouldn't be in the game still, but it just backed everyone up, and then I just wasn't thinking and just went straight on into turn one. But yeah, and then I don't know, I really joined them. It might be on me anyway. So yeah, it is what it is, and honestly, to grab, I think it was P4 or 5 was not too bad with the fastest lap in the end. So it's just damage limitation, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it was very crazy at the end. So yeah, that makes complete sense with the limiter and stuff. Very unfortunate for you. Championship wise, you're still in the lead by a nice little margin, and you still scored a decent amount of points regardless. Going into Japan, is that a strong track for you? Do you like that circuit?
In the past, it's actually been my worst track, but on this game, I've done a couple of league races around it, and I've kind of like found a really nice setup that suits me. So I'm hoping if I can run that, I should be able to, battle the likes of Robbo and hopefully Devon and Devon's back up there and me cashing them lot. Because I mean, I've had some brilliant battles so far this season. I just want to keep that going more so.
Yeah, it has been an awesome championship battle between you guys, so it would be good to see again. All right, one last question. Who do you think is going to win the Formula One race tomorrow?
I'd love to say Lewis, but he's not. So I'm going to say, I think Carlos will. Yes. I think Carlos will take it.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Congratulations for the effort, and hopefully it goes better next time in Japan.
Cheers.
We move on to Flexar. Flexar, that was a very, very tough race in every single way. You had the drive-through at the end, and then another pit stop was necessary. Can you take us through that one?
It was completely carnage. So I wasn't careful doing the safety car. I got myself a drive-through penalty. To be honest, I didn't really understand the game. So I tried to serve the drive-through during the safety car, which of course didn't work. Well, in the end, it was just never give up, So I think it did 8 stops in the race, plus 1 with the drive-through. So of course last place. But yeah, just from the quali, didn't manage to get into qualifying. Still got Parc Fermé, so no setup. So yeah, I went into the race just with just having fun. So in the end, it was okay.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was the case with the setup, which was really unfortunate, and I'm really, really, really sorry that had to happen. Japan, do you think you can do well there if you have a good setup? You've been so high up the order in pretty much every race, and you've just had it knocked away. Do you think you can finally maybe start a championship campaign on your end?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, of course, Japan. I think if I get enough practice, I can be quite fast on the track. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and yeah, hopefully I can get to finish in the top 5.
Awesome.
That would be quite awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that does go well for you. Finally, you deserve it, and thank you very much. This race is done. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words? No. Why am I asking that question? My brain is just completely gone.
No.
A completely different way. Who do you think is going to win tomorrow?
Yeah. So I'm quite a Max fan, but I think that's a bit unrealistic, to be honest. So
really,
I would. Yeah, Red Bull doesn't seem very strong, to be honest. But yeah, I would be happy if Ferrari would manage to win something. So Carlos, I'm rooting for Carlos.
Yeah, it is their circuit, and Carlos's engineer has won many times, so I don't think that's a bad shout. Anyway, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Great effort.
Cheers.
And we move on to Gilly. Gilly, honestly, I don't understand what's happened on your end, but you've managed to score points after that one. Was it the last safety car, or no, the penultimate safety car? I don't know if you were spun out or if you just spun out, but you were out of the points and then all of a sudden you got back in it.
Can't remember, to be honest. I had provisional pole for longer than 20 seconds this time, so I'm happy with that.
Well done.
I was miles behind at first because I just missed the everyone pitting for inters on the safety car, and I think it was me, Robbo, and someone else who stayed out on the dries thinking, oh, we might get away with it a little bit, but we didn't. And then afterwards there was a safety car, and I think I spun on the restart. Thought someone hit me, but it was a skill issue. And
I've done that a couple
Then
times.
I was on for P4, and Yaramir told me to hit a wall on the final corner, so I did that,
Ah,
and I didn't spin.
that's not very nice. Well, what I'm going to ask is, are you disappointed with that result? Do you think you could have done more, or are you considering yourself lucky after the race you had?
I'm lucky, but can we
Lucky.
just appreciate Dave's strategy of being fully dry conditions and pitting for inters and somehow working?
It was a very, very good call. So he paid good attention to the weather report. Well, Japan. Last time we raced there, you didn't get past the first sector. Do you think you can get at least past the first sector this time?
Can't remember why. I think
Somebody
did I hit a wall
spun
or
into
something?
you, I think, and you were just sent to the shadow run.
Well, that's up to everyone else because I don't make mistakes.
Fair enough. But definitely don't make mistakes. Definitely didn't see you on camera. Well, one last question. Who do you think is going to win the race tomorrow? I know it's pretty pointless asking you this question because I know your answer.
Who do I think or who do I want?
Who do you think will win?
Charles.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Great effort.
Thank you.
And we move on to Yaramir. Yaramir, that was a tough one, retiring early on, and I've been told that you were giving some dodgy radio signals over to Gilly during the race. Can you take us through that one?
I was actually making an effort to engineer for him, but I was using my calm voice, the one that got Gijs in P2. So if that gets Gijs in P2 in PSGL, then it's a Gilly issue, I think.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
it was a difficult race. Do you think you could have maybe been up there if it went your way a bit more? Do you think the safety cars later on would have possibly got you in, or do you think that was just your best bet and you just thought you'd end it early?
No. I actually was forced to end it early. I was driving and I was just not feeling it all evening, and I had to run to the toilet. Okay. Yes.
That's very unfortunate. I hope
it was l'issue de stomach, and I decided to because I was thinking I could do AI because it's not that I had to throw up, so it's not that I would have felt okay to drive after.
Yeah.
And I just really didn't feel well, so I decided to pull in the pits and retire there. To not cause any, drama for other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was that. Afterwards, I felt fine. Obviously, that's usually what happens. But weird one to end on. It's very. It's not happened to me before.
Yeah, that is a shame, and I hope you feel all right very, very soon. And I mean, as you said, you feel all right now, but.
I was actually doing time trial when you switched over to me, so I feel okay now. Sadly,
that is a shame for you. This race, whether you're going to be there or not, Japan. Do you like that circuit?
Yes, very much so.
Awesome.
Been driving it since GT4 or 5, the first game it was in. So awesome. I really like that track.
That's hopefully if you are there, hopefully that goes well for you. If not. Thank you very much today. One last question. Who do you think is going to win tomorrow?
Think Carlos? Hope Lando.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Split.
Thanks for having me, man.
We move on to Max. Max, that was just nuts. You have got up there on an intermediate tyre, the wrong tyre. Can you take us through that race, if that's even physically possible, especially at this time of night for you?
Just I think I got less grip with the wet tires runner. And at that time I'm in P2 before I got the 3-second penalty with exceeding track limit. I'm just thinking, can I hold on to the track and hold up behind the people behind? Because Singapore is very hard to overtake, and my experience with the multiplayer lobby player, usually full wet conditions and and very wet inters conditions is not much difference, I think. And but I can't really get onto the throttle on the every corner exit, so I just try to as early as I can, and also reduce the speed when I get into the corner, so it works out properly. But I lost focus and I get 3-second penalty.
Yeah, that is such a shame. It would have been a great result if you didn't have that, but are you still happy with how the race went?
Crazy strategy.
Yeah. Japan is the next race. Do you like that circuit? Do you think you can do well
No,
there?
definitely. Maybe worse than the worst track on the calendar of F1.5. The worst.
Fair enough. Well, we'll be optimistic and we will hope you do well there. One last question. Who do you think is going to win tomorrow?
I think it's Carlos, because his form did few races recent race blah 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 blah.
Recent races.
Recent races is very good, and seems they also have good tire degradation. So
yeah.
I hope the Ferrari strategists just don't mix it up.
We will see. We will see. Time will tell. All right. Thank you very much, Max, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. Great effort. And we move on to Tom to finish it off. Tom, another safety car issue from you. That was very unfortunate. Can you take us through that race?
I think at the beginning it went very, very good for me. I felt like I had the pace to go there around place 6 or so. Then I crashed the wall first. I had to pit. I was a bit behind, but it was like a good undercut. I got near to Dave again. But then there was a safety car around lap 15 or so. And at the end of the safety car, I don't know what happened. I've not seen anything through the corner. I just saw 5 cars or so ghosting, standing there, and there was no place where I could go. The other safety cars, I was so lucky and tried so much to not crash, and then there I had no chance.
Yeah, that's.
And then there was
Carry on.
And then the rain started, and it was a bit shaky for me. and at the end, my PC crashed. In the, I think, second last safety car.
Yeah.
I needed to reboot it very quickly. It worked, but I had no force feedback afterwards. That was also very unlucky in the heavy rain.
Yeah.
But I think it was an okay race, points at least. But there was definitely more in it.
Yeah, it's a shame to see you out of the race, out of the battle at least, during that race, especially at the end. But, I mean, I'm going to say a positive. At least you managed to stay in this one and not retire after a safety car collision. So I want to say it's awesome to see you finally cross the line. So well done today. That was great to see. Japan, do you like that circuit? Do you think you can do well there if you are able to drive?
I think Japan is my worst track, which is upcoming. But I will try my best. I thought Singapore was also one of my least favorite, and where I got maybe very worse. But it went well, so I hope that there can be something new for me that I didn't know, that I can drive the track.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Yeah, we can pray, and I mean the benefit is that you get these circuits done early on in the season, and then you can focus on the better tracks towards the end. Well, all I can say is thank you very much. Well done today. It was a great effort, and well done to staying in this race. That's pretty much everyone. Well done to everybody that stayed into this race. It was absolutely treacherous and not easy to do. One last question. Who do you think's going to win the Singapore Grand Prix tomorrow?
Oh, he's lost internet.
Maybe. That is very unfortunate. I'm going to say he thinks that maybe Alonso will win the race. All right, so we can't hear you, Tom, so we will move on. But well done today, great effort. And that has been it for the post-race interviews. We will move on to Zingy.
You're not going to ask who's going to win tomorrow?
No.
Why not?
Because I know your answer. And you've been whispering it the entire stream. So
I have not been whispering it the entire stream.
Thank you very much, everybody. I will move on to Zingy.
Right. Well, thank you, everyone, for watching that race. It was quite incredible. I don't know how people managed to keep it with the wall. Well, for most, anyway. But we thank you for joining us once again. And we will have a little break before Japan. We've got a week's break. So not next weekend, but the one after that. We hope to see you for the Japanese Grand Prix. And we look forward to seeing you there. Goodbye.